Hey, this is Charles on behalf of Jason. I'd like to say congratulations and welcome. You're about to discover mobile list building, but before we get started, let me just tell you a few things about it. First of all, you're going to fail at it. You say, well, Charles, that's just the perfect way to introduce anything. You're going to fail at it. I want a refund. This is a scam. No, not really. You have to understand everything in life you're not going to get it on the first time around. And I'm not really sure how internet marketers somehow got brainwashed into thinking, well, it should work for me the first time. If it doesn't work, it's a complete and total scam. I mean, let's face it. If inventors and scientists thought that way, we would still be sitting around our caves, popping out little stone arrows, going to hunt for the nearest dinosaur. It's not going to happen the first time. I mean, don't even, if you get your hopes up and they get crushed, you'll be screaming and hollering. But guys, gals, cut the BS. Wake up, smell the coffee. This is business. If everything worked on the first time around, you wouldn't be buying this. And second of all, Lord knows I get hate mail for saying this. Most people just give up after the first time. It's like for some reason, we've been conditioned. If it doesn't work the first time, it's a scam. It's a complete ripoff. I can tell you, I've had things where I've like literally struggled for days. I'd watch a video, try to do something, watch a video, try to do something. Literally taking me days sometimes to figure out things that like, oh, it's a 5 minute thing, but until you know, you really don't know. So listen to me. If you have been struggling, if you have not been making money, Lord knows this is the truth, just accept it. It's not that maybe you don't know what you're doing. Maybe it's that you've just been giving up too fast. I mean, all the great marketers I know have to struggle to do things. I mean, some things come naturally to others, while some things don't. So just please bear with me. Come into this with an open mind, and I think you'll be better off. So let's go ahead and get started. Before we get started, first of all, take the phone off the hook. Turn up your speakers. Don't multitask. Grab pen and paper and take notes. Watch this with an open mind. I think Jason had an email a couple days ago talking about when you write things down, when you take notes, you absorb them so much better. And you really need to do that. I mean, you absolutely need to do that. Watching this video one time is intellectual entertainment. Watching it a couple times, you become a little more ingrained into what I'm saying. Watching it a few times, taking notes, you will learn it. You can apply it. I mean, if you're spending the money, you might as well get the most you can possibly get out of this product. Okay, with that, let's go ahead and get started. Usual disclaimer. The results I've achieved are not your typical results. They're my results stemming from certain strategies I've created and refined. Just the same way my fingerprints and your fingerprints, Jason's fingerprints and my fingerprints and your fingerprints, and everybody else in the world has different fingerprints, we'll all have different DNA. We'll all have different results. Don't look at what Charles and Jason did. Go, well, because they did it, I should be able to do it. We're going to tell you what we do. You have to apply it. There are a million variables, and that's how the testing and tracking comes in. You need to start applying yourself. So anyway, what is mobile list building? First of all, what exactly is mobile? Now, I use nice, 19 mid 90s hand phone here. The truth of the matter is, mobile traffic is really just a form of traffic. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a form of traffic. It's cheap, it's fast, it's just an unbelievable boatload of it. It takes lots and lots and lots of testing. Now, let me go back to this right here. It takes a lot of testing. I mean, guys, I can't even remotely stress it takes a lot of testing. If you come in here and go, well, Charles, I got $5, and I expect to make $50 today, blank, I better make my blank money. You know what? Go get a refund. It's not going to happen. You may be the 1 in a million person that starts up, mobile and goes, gee whiz, Charles, I started it, didn't test anything, and guess what? Apparently they like buying whale blubber in Alaska. Didn't know it's such a huge commodity. Maybe you're the rare exception, but other than that, you better test this stuff out because you have to understand there's so much traffic right now, is so cheap. If you test and track and you find a winner, that winner can scale up like crazy. Problem is, most people aren't willing to test and track. They'd rather just assume to go buy another $7 WSO or $5 anything or $9.97 product or a $2,000 product or something. People inherently run away from work with like dogs with the tail stuck between the legs. And I love dogs. I got a beautiful golden retriever. So I don't mean that in a negative way, but I do mean it in the way that stop jumping around from product to product. Just stick with something. Otherwise, you're never going to get it, and you'll be like a year from now buying the same products, going, I don't know why none of this stuff works. I'm just telling you. Now, the mobile comes in a couple different flavors. First of all, we've got Wi-Fi traffic and we got carrier traffic. Now, I'm going to explain to you a little bit what that means. If you've got Wi-Fi traffic, you show at Starbucks. You're at Starbucks, your phone's on. Guess what? You're getting traffic. Pretty simple, pretty easy. Now, you tap into their Wi-Fi. Well, that is great for people on the go, but carrier traffic is really what I'm interested in. Carrier traffic is you're going down the road, you're not at well, really, and I could be at home too, but you have a 24/7 connection via your phone. That is carrier traffic. That's what I'm interested in. I'm not concerned in Wi-Fi traffic. I am not concerned about that in any way, shape, or form. Carrier traffic is the only thing I'm concerned in. And I'm going to show you that in a lot more detail here. So, we're just kind of covering some stuff before we jump into the meat and potatoes. The second thing that I absolutely love about mobile traffic is spying. Now, I know you say, Charles, but what runs where, ad beat, espionage, spy food, blah, 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 blah. Insert name of spy tool. Guess what? Mobile is so crazy. Spying is next to impossible. What runs where does a really good job of doing that. Ad beat. All these guys are great spy competitive intelligence tools. But when it gets down to it, it's nearly impossible to do on mobile. There's just so many variables to deal with. It's not like desktops. It's not a laptop. Um, you can spy. At best, it's still extremely, and I mean extremely limited. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started on this. First of all, mobile traffic is basically just a type of traffic from your phone, from your tablet, however you like to look at it. And basically, you have the ability to show a banner, which are great. We have what's called in-app, which are basically inside the app ads, and then we have the chance to do text. And really, text it's kind of a hybrid text banner match. I'll show you that in a few minutes, so don't worry about it. But just understand, really, those are the three kinds of traffic, or three types of ads. We got banner, in-app, text. Now, the reality of it is, if you take your time, there's some things we can do. First of all, I know somebody right now is going, I want a refund. You didn't tell me I'd have to be a Photoshop expert to get this done. Guess what? You don't have to be. Text banners are easy. Now you say, Charles, what the blank is a text banner? Just bear with me here. Text banners are easy and fast to create, so you can test more things faster and cheaper. Now let's talk about a text ad. Basically, a text banner is basically a image where you write text on it, and it really is just kind of like maybe AdWords ad with a colored background. Let that sink in. You don't really need to have Photoshop. You don't need to have like ninja graphic skills. All that can help. But when you're getting started, don't go out and get 100 banners made. Don't go out and get 10 banners made. You start with a text ad to see what's working, and only then, cough, cough, listen to this, is very important. Only then you start going out and getting image ads made. It's extremely important. Go with text to get started, because the reality of it is money loves speed. Everything I've done that's made me a lot of money, I've just gone out and done. Just do it. Like Nike says, just do it and get it done. The things that I don't make money on, the things I've screwed up, are things that, I got to take a week for this, a week for that, a week for that. No. 4 months later, and you still haven't gotten the site done. You feel like you just feel bad. Yeah, so get started with text, and once you've got some text stuff working, then, only then, move to image ads, because they scale better with different networks. Now, I'm sure you're thinking, what do you mean scale? Like, is it the image? No, we're not talking about image ads as far as like scaling and, like stretching out and getting pixelated. We're talking about scaling in the fact that image ads, or once you're done, you just go to a different network and say, hey, use my banners, use my banners, use my banners, because they work. It becomes very simple, very easy. But if you don't have that down in the very beginning, woe is you. That's all I can tell you. Now, a couple things we need to talk about. Now, before we get into the actual meat and potatoes of it, we kind of got to give you this little prep. And if you go, Charles, I'm already an expert on mobile list building, hey, skip it. Don't worry about it. Okay, we need to talk about device and OS. Now, this is going to be something a lot of people probably aren't going to be very happy with, but please listen to me. Your phone says something about you. Now, I know you say, Charles, doesn't. I bought it because I went to the Android store or the mobile store or the BlackBerry store or the iPhone store, and I got it. Well, yeah, right. The people that get the newest iPhone the minute it comes out, I can actually name a few people I know, by the way, that do that, are the early adapters. Nothing wrong with that, but you have to understand early adapters are different from mainstream buyers. And also, you have to understand the people that have a iPhone. I mean, guys, at this time, an Android phone, an iPhone, really, the costs are about the same. I mean, the reality of it is they all speak volumes about who they are. Like if you're using a BlackBerry, typically, and this is like I said, we're just having a stereotype here because we don't have all the data, but we just have to stereotype. Most businesses love Blackberries. I've got a friend of mine. He owns a company, and all his workers have Blackberries. I asked him why, and he said because when they go into a meeting to sit down to present, to do a sales presentation, they take the BlackBerry and they put it on the desk, and then they go, "Oh, let's mute our phone because you're the most important thing." They use a BlackBerry because they want to show they're serious about business. It's how business gets done. That is the image. I'm not making that up. I wish I could have. Me, I've got an iPhone. Anyway, that's a whole new story. But you have to understand each one of these phones will appeal to a different user base. And I'm even going to go further than that. Let's think about phone demographics. Now, this will probably get me plenty of hate mail. Who is using a T-Mobile? Now, there could be a lot of MMA fighters walking around right now with T-Mobile phones. I'm sure there probably are. Probably millions of, T-Mobile phones, and probably 500,000 MMA fighters, MMA wannabe fighters, WWF, boxers, football players. They all use T-Mobile phones. I'm sure of that. But have you ever noticed T-Mobile phones ads are, the TV ads are pink? I want you to think about that for a second. Why are the ads pink? Let's go to the T-Mobile website. I don't know about you. Last time I saw this much pink, it was a Hello Kitty convention. I mean, it's full of pink. I mean, unless I am wearing breast cancer awareness, I don't really have any desire to be wearing pink in any way, shape, or form. But you notice the site's pink, the buttons are pink, the girl has black hair, and everything is pink. I don't know about you, and I'm just making a rough general statement here that perhaps remotely could possibly be their demographics could be skewed toward females. I'm just saying that. I mean, it's not like we're going to use Quantcast here to say, oh, females. I'm not saying that. But if you had to make a guess, because we don't want to stereotype anybody, I don't really think, I mean, this just seems, to me, it seems to be a girl's phone. Lord knows I'm going to get plenty of hate mail for that one. I'm sure it's a great phone. I'm sure that's why they gave Paris Hilton the slider many, many years ago because, she appeals to girls. All girls want to be like Paris Hilton, so we need a pink slider phone. The reality of it is certain phones will have a certain demographics and a certain appeal. Now, look at this. Look at the age group here. Now, in case you're not like a Quantcast fanatic and can read this like I can, this is called the internet average right here. This is like, as a general rule of people, the average number of internet users. You notice the thing is like hugely skewed between 18 to 24-year-old females. Hugely skewed toward people that make less than $50,000, have no college. Now, if you look at that, and they also have, actually, wow, it's amazing. They have kids. That would be surprising to me. I guess compared to this, demographic. But look at this. I mean, it's hugely skewed between females of a certain age group. Now, if you were to advertise a diet or weight loss product, would you want to, you pick 100 women out the mall and you pick 100 guys. I don't care if the woman is anorexic, about to be, admitted to the hospital where they're going to give her protein shakes. She goes, yeah, I need to lose weight. You pick 100 guys, they can have a size 98 pants, a bag of Doritos, and a six-pack of beer on the couch. Lose weight? Never. Don't need to do any of that. They're one step away from a double coronary or, what is it? Bypasses. My father-in-law had these. Five had a no, that'd be fine. Oh, you tell I'm bad with numbers today. But anyway, women are always inherently concerned about weight loss. Guys, not. So if you were to promote something on T-Mobile, would you want to promote like maybe a guy product like MMA fighters? Probably not. Would you promote something, I don't know, like maybe a Hello Kitty wallet or something like that? I think the Hello Kitty may beat out the MMA fighters today. But what I'm trying to get to, guys, is know your demographics. Do this for Sprint. Do it for AT&T. You'll get sometimes your data is not going to be conclusive. Sometimes, like the T-Mobile stuff, you can just make certain assumptions. So anyway, we're also going to get into the tracking, guys. Now, I stressed earlier, testing and tracking is the key. I don't care how many times I've seen a failed campaign from Lord knows how many people. I've seen winning campaigns. I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt, your ability to make mobile traffic work will be based 100% on your ability to test and your ability to track. Now, there are countless programs out there designed to do tracking, and there's nothing wrong with it. The two I like are CPV Labs. That's the one I personally use. And then we've got the Prosper Tracking 202, which is an excellent program. And I think a lot of people like it. It's free. You can't really complain about free. I don't know about you. You can't complain about free. So get out there, get one of those. There are tons of mods for the Tracking 202, tons of things you can do with it. CPV Labs, it's kind of a different animal. It's originally set up for PPV. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to set up a campaign here for a mobile network right now. Okay, I'm in CPV Labs, and we're going to cover this more in detail in a few minutes, but I'm just going to show you. Click on direct link and landing pages, and it says, hey, guess what? We want the campaign name. I'm just going to call it Jump Tap Test. And you already did one. I'm call it maybe Jump Tap Test 2. Traffic source. Guess what? Jump Tap Mobile Network. It's already going to go ahead and supply my keywords in here. We can add additional tokens if we like. And we can just basically, we're going to send it to our own page, so we don't need to hide any of this data. The failure page, what would be the failure page? I'm going to say Media Buyer Association, the free lesson. And it's added our creatives in here, like, get a load of this. And you say, well, Charles, what does this mean? Basically, it's going to tell me a lot of data. This is actually the bundle, but we can add additional ones in. And I'm going to go direct link. Look what we got. I'm going to pick my network, which in this case will be MBA. Offer, I'm calling it the test page, because that's what we're trying to do here. URL, I'm just click in here, just randomly pick one. Now, I know you're freaking out. Basically, I just came over here and said, name a campaign, traffic source, jump tap. It filled in all my token and everything's ready to go. Filled in like what page do I want, direct link. I can split test. I could have multiple tests. Let's just pretend that let's pretend these were 3 different pages. Test offer 1, test offer 2, test offer 3. And guess what? I could easily come through here and rotate through these pages. Call this page 1, page 2, page 3. I mean, how easy is that? I'm just putting in the name of my pages, and let's just say one of them becomes inactive. It's not converting. We do this. And we say, well, Charles, what happens, you test this page and you need more. Add offer. Then you put a test page 4 here. I mean, that is reality how simple and easy this stuff is. So we could save campaign. Oh, sorry. I didn't put any campaign in here. So I can hit save campaign, and guess what? We're pretty much ready to go from a testing and tracking standpoint. It's already created my URL that I'm going to give to the affiliate network, in this case the traffic network. Pixel to put on a thank you page. We're going to go over more of this later, so don't freak out. Charles, you're just going too fast. Hey, don't worry about it. I'm just showing you the right tracking solution like this makes your life so much easier. But you said, Charles, I don't have CPV Labs. Take a deep breath. This is free. I mean, Tracking 202. I mean, Prosper 202. These guys, I'm going to be honest with you. When they came out with this and it was free, it freaked everybody out. It's like, it's free. I mean, it's absolutely, it totally changed the affiliate marketing game and the tracking game exponentially. I mean, this thing really was a radical concept for its time. And for a long time, I could not figure out how these dudes were making money. Just couldn't figure out how they were making money. And now, I think they've got something now. Before you freak out, now you can actually get a server. You can get a click server. You can buy it, rent it for a day, however you like to look at it. Or if you want to, let me just come over here. I've got something called Ghostly Runner. If you don't have it, you really should get it. It tells me about where they're getting ads from. That's a whole new story. You can come over here, click on good old fashioned Prosper, and guess what? It's free. Download it, install it. There happens to be around 2 point gazillion million videos on how to basically get it, set it up, use it. I think it's a great product. Um, it's free. Take the time to learn it. It's just the key is if you're not tracking this, it's going to be a complete and utter disaster. And believe me, let me tell you that from experience. So you say, well, Charles, that's great. Why do we test? Well, these are things we need to test. And remember, if you go to any scientist and if you ask how many times did you just create something on the very first try and it worked? They go, well, Charles, we're still trying to create the magical serum to regrow hair. It was called Rogaine. But we need to, do something different with it. You know, Rogaine, sticky notes, everything you can think of was not created with one single experiment. We didn't open a book and go, you know what? It's not cooking. This is the same concept. We're not baking a cake here. We're formulating something from scratch. So you really need to test and track this stuff relentlessly. What to test? Take a deep breath because this is going to be very important. Location. You need to actually, because you can say, you know what, maybe US traffic, maybe UK traffic, Australia, New Zealand, Singapore. You can test like virtually anybody that's got mobile traffic somewhere, you can get access to it. One of the first things we start testing is locations because guess what? Some countries, I'm just telling you, are a little more lax on the standards and the regulations than the good old fashioned USA. Never do anything to break any laws ever. Bad karma will bite you in the tush. But depending on what you're doing, you may find location plays a massive part of this. Also, the carrier. Because some carriers are just simply better than others. Now I'm sure somebody who go, Charles, I don't believe in, what difference does a carry make? This is the dumbest thing ever. Want a refund? Never heard of anybody speak of these things. Okay, well, it's cool. Everybody has to learn. Boost Mobile. Okay, let's see. All Mexico, all mobiles, unlimited calls to mobiles and landlines in Mexico. Do you think if it's big enough for them to put a slider on their homepage? Boost Mobile could be, I don't know, maybe geared toward a certain demographic. Think about that. You know, let's look at this. And we have got Beats Audio. Cool. That's one thing we've got. JD Powers Award. We have got a product talking about landline calls to Mexico. And we've got people doing silly things. Now let's look at this. Age group. Let me back up that ad. Pause it. Age group. Guy probably, I'd say 20s maybe, wrestling belt on, lady taking a picture. Quite often, whenever you come to sites, start looking around, you can quite often find a lot of stuff that you wouldn't have thought of otherwise. Also, I'm going to show you this. Look at the boost demographics. Go to Quantcast once again. Internet average, predominantly 18 to 24. A huge escalation of 18 to 24. And all of a sudden, you've got, most of them are under 50,000. No college, and a high percentages of African American and Hispanics as compared to the internet average. Now, that's telling you that's giving you the profile of this customer. And they seem to have an affinity. Now, this is going to go beyond the scope of this call, but please take it for what it's worth. And Lord knows, I hope I'm not about to open up a porn site. What is their affinity? Date hookup. That means people that visit Boost Mobile are also inclined with a 5.9% affinity to visit Date Hookup over Match.com. Now, I don't really know what Date Hookup is, but I'm saying if I looked at this, I would potentially say, I would probably start maybe running ads geared toward this. Just telling you. It's telling you here. Okay. And, they have an affinity with Walmart, Kmart, Sears, and Target. But if you look at all this stuff, it really, really helps. So that is the carrier. There are tons of carriers, by the way. We've got OS. Could it be Android? Could it be the iPhone? Handset. Let's get crazy. I mean, there are a gazillion different handsets out there. Creative. That's your banner or your text banner / text hybrid banner. Landing page and demographics. Now, these are the order to which I say test things in. You may say, Charles, you know what? We've done it differently. We've got a better result. Great. More power to you. But for me, Location, U.S. carrier. Who is the carrier? Depends on what I'm promoting. Am I promoting ringtones? Cough, cough. You should remember ringtones. Where was I just at? Okay, OS, handset, creative, landing page demographics. These are all very testable, and you really need to test everything. So don't freak out. We're going to show you how to do that. But anyway, carriers, those are the people that provide the phone service. Boost Mobile, you've got Cricket, you've got AT&T, you've got Sprint, blah, blah, blah. Goes on, goes on, goes on. Some carriers appeal to lower income people. Now, please remember that. If your goal is to get people on your list to go buy product launch formula, I can guarantee you Boost may not be and there's nothing wrong with it at all, by the way, but they may not be your ideal client. Just saying. And pick a country that works best with your offers, because you have to understand some countries work much better than others. I mean, there are some countries that flat out kill it with ringtones, with others, not so great. So, anyway, one of the things we want to talk about is, guys, pick a niche. Go huge, go mainstream. A lot of people go, Charles, I'm stuck in internet marketing. Why? Because you haven't made any money in it, and you're going to teach other people how to make money in it, even though you've never made money yourself. Oh, I don't really know if there's anything too terribly bad about that, but you need to make some money and get some results before you go teaching other people. Just saying. Let me get the hate mail for that one, I'm sure. But anyway, what I'm saying is, guys, you're sitting here with the entire world at your fingertips. Your entire world at your fingertips. Do not go in and say, I want to pick the small micro niche of make money. You can, nothing wrong with that. But considering that, you've got weight loss, health, fitness, that dwarf internet marketing by an exponential long shot. Given the opportunity, which one do you want to have? Somebody who is going to lose weight, wants to be healthier. The doctor says you need to lose weight, cut out the Doritos, or you will die. That's quite a motivator for people to lose weight. I mean, I want you to think about this. I'm just trying to stress for your best interest. How many internet marketing, make money online commercials do you see on TV? Not too many of them. I mean, especially if you're looking like a 30-minute comedy like Seinfeld. How many times they go, wait, are you tired of like sitting on your couch watching Seinfeld? Would you like to make more money? Click here. No. How many times have you seen the Trisensa ad, or how many times have you seen the Weight Watchers ad, or the Jenny Craig ad, or any of these other gazillion and a half ads out there? Because it's a massive niche. I can just tell you, get into health, fitness, beauty, you're fine. I mean, weight loss, it's a great opportunity. Personal development, there are massive amount of niches out there. Don't just get stuck in internet marketing, okay? And we're going to be going into the meat and potatoes in just a few minutes. But the offer, create 5 different offers. Now, this is something I learned from Perry Marshall, and I'm sure he got it from somewhere else, but when he said it, it hit me really like a ton of bricks. Basically, most people don't really, I talk to them and they go, well, we've got 5 offers. It's the headline 5 different times with one saying free, one saying new, one with quotations, one with an exclamation mark, one blue, one red. And they go, Charles, we got 5. No, you got one offer. Create 5 radically different headlines. No, I'm seriously, radically different. This one better say 100% commission. The next one better say, do you need a job, working online, make money from home, stay at home with the kids. 5 radically different headlines, and use those. Next thing we'll talk about is short headlines. The reality of, these mobile devices are not exactly huge. I mean, I don't know about you, but I've got like the iPhone 4 thing, and my screen isn't big. A buddy of mine's got a 5. His screen's bigger, but guess what? It's not really a whole lot of room on these things. And you also have to deal with what's called feature-rich phones, which are not smart phones. They're semi-smart. You just have to understand, and please bear with me on this, you cannot have a 70-word headline or a 50-word headline. You better make that headline short, sweet. And the best copywriters can make short, sweet headlines. And if you can't write short, sweet headlines, sit down, think about your headline, make it the smallest you possibly can, because a short and sweet headline is why it's going to work. Next thing you want to do is, like I said, have them radically different before I jump on that. Narrow it down to the best one. You get 5 radically different things. Start testing it. One will outperform the other. It's just how it's going to happen. And then focus on list building. We can actually send people to co-reg paths, we can send them to zip submits. There are tons of things we can send these people to. The reality of it is, get the people on your own list first. If you can get them on your list first, you can make sales later. A lot of people go for the sale up front, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that with a mobile device, I mean, if you told me I had to enter my credit card information on a mobile device, I would scream. Just wait till I got home, which I'd forget about buying your product then. Get the minimum information you can get. Focus on building the list first, and you'll be so much better off. Now let's talk about the types of landing pages here. Take a deep breath. There are really four landing pages. Take a really deep breath, because you're going to say, well, Charles, what do you mean there are four types of landing pages? I mean, there are really four types of landing pages. And I'm going to show you an example of all of them. But anyway, this is the type of landing pages you need to focus on. Straight to the opt-in. And I'm going to show you an example of that right now. This is straight to the opt-in. It is headline, opt-in. Basically, this page, what you see, headline, opt-in. I'd even take this piece right here out, by the way. That is straight to the opt-in page. The next page we're going to talk about is surveys that lead to opt-in. And I can tell you, nobody's done it better than Dagan Smith. The dude is a genius. Headline, and here you're like, it's not asking people for their name and email address. Oh gosh. So, the people are taking a survey. How did you hear about us? And it could be any kind of survey. Next. Oh, enter your information. Next. Now you see how that worked. That worked amazingly well, because when prospects are on this page, I mean, they got a million things going on. And you go, hey, would you mind forking over your email address first? Prospects, I don't know, you're asking for a smaller commitment here. Yeah. Once they get started in commitment, we have consistency and commitment, and they will typically just through momentum be carried through the process. It's very, very, very important. And now do not go rip off Dagan's like bad karma. You'll get bit in the behind. But this is the concept of having like A, B, C, D buttons. I mean, truth of the matter is, it probably makes no difference what you click here. Now, if you wanted to be super ninja, you could segment people based on something. Like, do you want to make more money from your job? Yes, I want to make more money from a job. No, I want to start my own business. I would like to get a business. I'd like to buy an existing business, and I have no business experience. If you wanted to be like truly ninja, which I highly suggest you do, whatever radial button they click and hit the next button could take them to a list geared toward emails and product offerings based on what they choose here. You could be totally ninja, do that. It takes a little more work, but you know what? At the end of the day, the people that work the hardest make the most money. Let's take a look at this. Click to join list. You say, Charles, what is that? Dumbest thing ever. Click to join list. I know. You say, well, Charles, this looks stupid. The thing's massive. Watch this. This puppy is mobile responsive. Watch this little thing. If you were to go to this site, guess what? It all of a sudden works with mobile. Now, granted, we're on a desktop, a 27-inch or 28-inch. The 27-inch massive LED sync master monitor. So it's not going to really look right. But if you were on a mobile device, you notice all of a sudden how things scale. If you were on a mobile device, and unfortunately you really need to be on a mobile to see this like it should, this would fit perfectly on a mobile device and looks really good. And all anybody has to do to basically join my list is click a button, and it's going to actually open up Outlook and send you an email from my native mobile browser, or in this case, mobile email client. That is insane, because now they don't have to type. They click a button and boom. I got to give Ryan Dice for the credit for the idea of that one. Had that script made, and I love it. And then we have what's called click to lander. I'm going to show you what a click to lander is right now. Now here's an example of the person getting to a landing page. In this case, it will be a mobile landing page. And you're not asking for commitment. It's kind of the same thing we saw with Dagan's survey, except here we're just going to ask them a couple questions and say, prove it to me, or whatever else. They click this link, and then it would take them to the landing page where they could opt in. And really, you're just focusing on getting commitment and consistency. I made this up in about 30 seconds, so excuse me if there's any misspellings on it. And that's really how this works. It's not difficult. A lot of people just make this stuff hard. I mean, none of it is difficult, but it takes testing like anything else. Now, Like I said, don't test on Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is not what we're looking for, and you need to go as micro as possible. If you can get handset, operator, carrier, you have all these different tags, use them. And I'll show you how that's, or show you kind of how that's done in tracking, because every place is going to be different. So make sure you keep that in mind. And there are a couple things make the opt-in buttons huge. I mean, I know you probably say, Charles, that button you showed was huge. Actually, the button is smaller than that. Really, the real button, let's see if I can get it to insert again, is that big. It's massive, and we kind of have to scale it down just for this example, but that is the power of this. Make these buttons huge. I mean, make them huge. Jason and I have also included a number of opt-in buttons for you to use, so definitely scale them. Don't go give them away. Nothing, no bad karma stuff like that. But we're going to give you some buttons you can use. You can easily modify Aweber and get response to anybody else, really any other system, to use this. So definitely do that. Large opt-in boxes. One of the biggest problems we run into is people having very small opt-in boxes. And I'm going to show you an example. This page isn't set up for mobile, but when you start looking at this from a mobile standpoint, see this box right here, make it big, make the buttons big. The buttons in the opt-in box need to be like the biggest things versus the headline on the page. Don't be afraid to make it big. Also, we're dealing with a screen width issue. The screens are not huge. You have to understand, you don't have a, I have no clue what resolution this thing is, but I'm assuming 1900 whatever resolution. It's massive. The width of the screen is not very big. Also, colors. One thing you want to look at is if somebody is using your device, they're outside. I mean, it's hard enough for me to see my iPhone outside. I'm kind of like putting my hands on it, shading it. So, definitely use colors. I mean, if your demographic is pink, use pink. But, try to keep these things easy. Make the colors contrasting, but don't make them, like lime green till they burn your eyes out. Nothing like that. And if at all possible, not everything will work with this, but if you can put timers on your page, anything you can use to create scarcity is a winner. Please remember, your speed is going to be limited. I don't care who you're talking to, unless you just happen to be in the Wi-Fi mecca of the world. Speed is not exact. You're not going to get like blazingly fast UVerse speeds on these phones. Lord, email hate. I'm going to get this hate emails on this particular one. There's a lack of real standards. I mean, everybody goes, well, yes, we have a standard that we all adhere to, this standard, to this mobile web browsing standard, blah, 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 blah. Every phone is different. None of these things work. I mean, it's like going back to 1999. Netscape, Mozilla, Internet Explorer, some of these things, if you left out a piece of code, the entire page would not load. So please be careful. Don't get too crazy with these. Try to stay mobile compliant in HTML5 as much as you possibly can. Ways around that, by the way, but just please remember that. Make sure your server can handle this. I mean, if you're going to tell me, well, Charles, you know what? I got a HostGator server and it's fine, or some other server, it's good, great, that's fine. But just make sure your server can handle it. If you drive, 1,000 clicks to a page in an hour, just make sure your server can handle it. I know guys who do, 1,000 a minute, and I can tell you, when they do that kind of crazy stuff, it's wacky servers that you think would never break, blow up. So please remember that. Not last, but let me get to this thing here. Test your tracking pixel. I cannot tell you how many people don't test their tracking pixels. Just track your pixel, test it, make sure this thing's firing, or else you'll be in like a disaster because you're not going to know what's going to convert. So please remember that. Now, on these landing pages, if you can call out like Sprint user, iPhone user, I mean, if you can say, for a special discount for all Sprint users, for all iPhone Sprint users in Florida, that will have a great impact. That will have a huge impact on your conversions, because anytime you can geo-target like that, and you can easily do that with this kind of stuff, you can really, really get a better end result. Also, tools you can use. I know somebody's going to complain because they're not free. One's called Browser Stack, and basically you can go in there and you basically view your mobile landing pages, see how they look. And also leadpages.net for mobile pages. Clay has a number of them that are hyper mobile responsive. We're going to show you how all this works in just a few minutes, but this is kind of a primer on mobile. Let's go ahead and set up our campaign and go from there.